Okay, let's try this once again. Um, it helps if I am not tired and smarter than the applications that I'm trying to work with. It's been a day. There's been a lot of drama. Um, Make sure that when you're dealing with folks that you love on a very important topic, that you make sure you're talking the same language. And I don't necessarily mean English or Portuguese or French or uh, Urdu or any of the other up teen million languages that there are on the planet. Make sure that you're speaking the same flavor. And I'm not just speaking, if we're talking English, you know, Britain versus, or so UK versus, US type English and stuff like that. Um, I mean, make sure that you're coming at things from the same view because even within United States English, there's various slangs and dialects from various um, not only locations of the country but also various um, occupations within the country. It's working in IT. I have slang that I use that non-IT folk look at me kind of askance, like the hell. um, so make sure that you're speaking the same language. It's after my father passed away, one of my siblings was very adamant about talking through things when my brain hadn't gotten back into the right space. So I was saying things, but how I was talking was not how they were understanding things. So they thought I was saying something entirely different than what my brain was trying to actually encode and put out there. And that has put undue stress on both my sibling and myself. And we have a lot of underlying health issues that additional stress is just exacerbating. And I am a very arrogant son of a bitch. Um, Hence the creating a YouTube channel and putting stuff on there and sitting here talking to the world. It takes a special kind of arrogance to do something like this. It takes a special type of arrogance to write stories that you want the world to read because you think you are so fucking cool that people need to see what the hell you're doing. Um, to me, it's just wanting to share a story, wanting to share with the world. But I can see how it's a special kind of arrogance. And I'm not saying my sibling said I'm an arrogant ass or anything like that. That's something I've figured out over almost 50 years of life. I can be pretty arrogant. I at times, even though I've got imposter syndrome a good deal of the time, I've also got a huge ego at others. So, um, yay! But make sure that your loved ones know that you love them. Um, Make sure you're talking the same language so that you're not frustrating each other, not stressing each other. It's it's a dark world out there, folks. It's a really dark world. There's so much hate and anger out there. It's not even funny. And what we need to do is we need to go ahead and combat that anger and The only way to combat that anger is not, you don't combat anger and hate with love. You can, but you can't love everyone. You can't love everything. You can try to find compassion, because that compassion can grow and help folks. You see someone a little down, figure out what you can do to help them. Now, my grandmother, wonderful, wonderful woman that I severely miss. She died in the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't remember exactly when. Um, my life from that point in time is actually kind of a haze for a lot of good portions of it. Um, my grandma, Edna Elliott, um, born Edna Sellers, and she was a wonderful woman. And she taught me the two most important things in life. And I'll start with the second most important one. The second most important one is this: you can't have good times without bad times. It's just time otherwise. You've got to have something to sit there and balance those scales. Otherwise, there's nothing. It's just one long nothing. Now, everyone has to go through, again, those dark times to get to those bright times. And the darker times that you travel through, the brighter the times are that are the good times, both in remembrance and when they come back. They're that much sweeter because you now know the depths and the darkness. You can now appreciate the light. It's the second most important thing that she taught me. The first most: a smile or a laugh is the perfect gift to give someone. It never costs you a dime. It's never the wrong size, never the wrong color, never the wrong style. And for one brief shining moment, you have brightened another's existence. Now, that first part about it not costing a dime, to bring that smile, you might have to buy them a cup of coffee. You might have to shake their hand. You might have to look them in the eye and treat them like a human being. You might have to have compassion. You might have to sit down and listen to their story to see what you can do to brighten their day. You might have to have some compassion. It doesn't cost you a dime to sit and listen. Unless you're being paid, then it costs the company that you're working for a little bit. And you probably shouldn't be doing that on the clock. But maybe at lunch, talk to a coworker. Hey, you seem down. What's up? Something like that. It's a wise man that I took for granted for way too long in my life. And by the time I realized it, it was almost too late. Once said, love breeds love, hate breeds hate. I don't know where he got it from. And sadly, it's too late to be able to ask him now. But that's something that my father preached on a regular basis. So much so that my siblings and I started mocking him for it. And we didn't realize how wise and how right he was until we were much older. And it was still kind of a running joke even up until he died. Now, Dad's only been gone a few months. And it's just one of those days that makes me think back on that and want to remind folks out there in the world that love breeds love, hate breeds hate. Why spread more hate in the world? Hate's a virus. Hate's an ugly thing that is breaking us down and killing us as a people. We need to pull our heads out of our asses and look one another in the eye, whether they're red or blue or anything in between. Doesn't matter whether they have the same religious beliefs of you, doesn't matter whether they're the same socioeconomic platform as you. Start treating people with a little bit of respect, a little bit of compassion. Hey, you seem down. Are you okay? Do you need to talk? Start there. There's a lot of ugliness and there's a lot of stress and bullshit that's out there in the world, and it causes a lot of mental health issues for a lot of folks. So, if you are having a mental health crisis, remember 988. I'm doing this through YouTube. I'm still learning the platform. I don't know if there's ways I can fly things in, doing it directly through YouTube. In the future, I plan on doing things through StreamYard and OBS possibly. Um, so I can actually fly in little panels down below and things of that nature. But right now, I'm just rambling. I'm just ranting. I'm just getting stuff out to finally start the damn channel that I've said I've been going to start recording on for years. And it seems best and seems easiest if I just have a conversation. Um, folks are welcome to leave comments and what have you down below. I'll gladly answer things down there, or possibly have a late night rumination on that as well. But it's late. The world is weighing heavy on my mind, and the nerve pain is not letting me sleep yet. So here I am. I ramble. I chat. I talk. Yeah, this is not being changed up at all, not being edited. At least not yet. Maybe in the future I might create an edited version and do stuff with it, but who knows? Um, so you have all the awkward silences, all the moments of introspection because Dick All is done, is written, is scripted. Um, one thing that we owe every other person on this planet is to be treated like a human being. You don't have to give them special airs. You don't have to treat them better than you. You have to treat them like a human being. Be aware they exist. Be cognizant of their feelings and don't be a dick. Kind of odd that, don't be a dick is being espoused by someone named Dick. Go figure. No, but seriously, um, so many mental health crises can be avoided if we treat each other like people. If I look you in the eye and I say, I recognize that you are a person, you know, you are owed that much respect. Have a nice day. Now, that being said, if that person is espousing hate, if that person is espousing anger, you know, beautiful thing about the First Amendment is even though it gives folks the right to say whatever the hell they want because the government can't really censor them, it also gives you the right to just turn around and walk away. Other side of the First Amendment, that part of freedom of expression, you are allowed to express that you don't want to listen to whatever drivel that someone's espousing. That being said, if we actually sat and talked, maybe we'd have less people up on podiums pounding their fists espousing hate and anger. Too many people base things off of cultural heritage, color of skin, dialect, accent, slang, all sorts of stupid bullshit. We are a people, the human race. It doesn't matter whether the person espouses the same beliefs as you, whether that person believes they are something other than male or female. Give them basic human kindness. Now, about to get religious. Getting religious by going through a movie. Bruce Almighty. It was put forth that when you ask for patience, God just doesn't lay patience on you. He gives you a scenario in which you can be patient. I'm a firm believer in that kind of thing. You look for something and you pray for the strength to get through whatever, and God just puts those things in front of you to train you to move up. Now, a lot of atheists out there are probably going to say there is no God, so therefore nothing's being placed there. It's just the random events in your life that are allowing you to XYZ. And that's perfectly fine. They're welcome to think that, just like I'm welcome to think and believe that it's my way. It's not hurting them for me to think my way, and it's not hurting me for them to think their way. Um, but I notice when I do that, I'm usually praying for something I really do need in my life. And it's an internal change. It's not something external. It's not like I'm saying, God, I want $1 million. No, it's nothing like that. It's God, I need patience. God, please help me get through this. God, give me the strength to XYZ. And more of these situations tend to fall in my lap. Um, Sometimes I rise above and I succeed. Sometimes I do not succeed. Um, you'll notice I did not use the F word. I did not fail because I did not give up. Failure in my book is giving up. Lack of success is not failure. Lack of success is just it didn't work that way. What are we going to do now? Um, But anyways, I have no idea where I was going. The squirrels got to me again. Damn those furry little bastards. Um, you pray for something, you ask for something, and God puts something forth in front of you to help you learn to overcome and strengthen yourself. And yeah, I lost it. It might come back to me, it might not. Um, no, I know exactly where I was going. Never mind. Um, so, um, I try to have an open mind. I don't always succeed. And sometimes I think I have an open mind and I come at something from a very close minded stance, and suddenly someone goes, "Oh, hey, dumbass." And it's like, oh. Um, I've had friends who have been Q plus for a long time, and more power to anyone in the Q plus community. Um, they deserve every single right that I do as a cis male. A cis female deserves every right as well, and people of color deserve every right that I have. I deserve every right that everyone else has. The thing about privilege is you rarely see yours until it's pointed out, and sometimes not even then. But you can always look over and notice somebody else's. So, um, but anyways, going back to what I was saying. So I've had friends in the Q plus community for years, and I thought I got it. I still don't quite get it because, again, I'm not part of that community, but I do have loved ones who are. And I think those other people before changed my view. Because I used to be on the, well, there's only two genders, male and female. But by knowing these people and hearing their stories and knowing their experiences, sitting down and listening to them, it's changed my mind over time to make me realize, okay, scientifically, you've got X, Y as far as biologics go, but there's so much to us than the sack of meat we're riding around in. We're not single-celled organisms that all we are is that single-celled organism. We expand, we go beyond. I'm not just a morbidly obese diabetic with um, a bit of an ego complex. I'm much more. Um, and I'm sorry for anyone who ends up watching this later. Um, I really am. Um, but again, it's late. I need to ramble somewhere. Might as well make this into some kind of therapy. Um, those people paving that path for me by talking with me, letting me hear their fights, their struggles, their problems, made me realize a lot more in my life. And it made me realize how narrow my perspective was. Years later, people are introduced to the family that are that way. And it's hard sometimes to properly approach things because there are some that are just, and I hate saying just, but they are homosexual or bisexual or polyamorous or um, hell, what's the other one? Um, Polyamorous, polysexual, all 9 years. But there's a couple that are trans, and you've known them for so long by a certain name. You've known them for so long as a certain gender, and you end up misgendering them. Um, and you can see the slap in the face, even though you don't mean it. And even backpedaling and apologizing and trying to use the right term right then and there still hurts him. And it makes you feel like a lousy person because it's someone you know and you love and you care for deeply. Not romantically, familially. And sometimes these people are actually part of your family. And it's like a physical slap in the face. And then you just hurt. And they tell you it's all right because, hey, you have known them for X amount of years as 1, 2, 3. It takes time. Show compassion. Treat people as you want to be treated. If they want to go by something other than him or her or he or she, the hell does it matter? They was in use in the English language to discuss another person for a long period of time because it was extremely generic. It could be one person, it could be several people. It could be men, it could be women, it could be neither. But hey, some people don't like they. Some people like the zims and zers and all that. Now, that takes a lot of getting used to, and I'm not sure if I would be able to get used to that if I had someone going to one of the weird ones because it's not a part of the English language that I know, but I would attempt. And that's what I'm saying is we need to be the change we want to see in the world. We need to be the love. We need to be the light. We need to be the happiness. We need to be the hope that gets put out in the world. Hope is one of the most important things another person can have. Because hope allows you to withstand the darkness. It's that light that lets you see the path. It's that one true thing that allows you one more step. Okay. One more step. Okay, one more step. And I'll go ahead and I'll rant and ruminate on that in a future episode. I think I've been all over the map tonight, and for that, I do apologize. We live in a world that's weird, and not weird in the good way. Be the hope for someone else. Be the love, be the laughter, be the light. Spread happiness, spread compassion. And now, the most important lesson I can teach anyone else. Make sure that the people that you care about, that the very last thing that they will ever hear from your lips is, I love you. I have lucked out. Left the hospital, told my mom I love her. Very last words I heard from her was, I love you. The very last words I said to her were, I love you. Doctor said, yeah, she'll be fine. We'll get her rehydrated. Everything's going to be good. Went to work the next day, got a call saying mom's not coming home from the hospital. Get home now. I was literally a block away from the train stop, from the train stopping for me to get off and wait for my wife to pick me up, because the mode of transportation I took into the city was not coming back until like 5 p.m. So my wife had to meet me up there to get me over to the hospital. And block away from the stop, get a call from Dad that she's gone. But the very last words I said to her were, I love you. I'm so happy I lucked out and that happened. Life crashed on me last year. I ended up, me and my family, my wife and my youngest, had to move back in with my father for a couple of months while waiting to get this place. And 2 weeks after we moved out, Dad passed away. I was sitting on the steps the very last day that I was at Dad's house. My wife and my child were already here. I couldn't move in yet because we didn't have internet here, and I was working from home. Still, I'm working from home, so kind of need internet for that. So I was working from Dad's, and it didn't make sense for me to drive an hour out here, or actually drive an hour from out here to Dad's, work, and then drive an hour back out here. It just made more sense just to stay at Dad's for a couple of days while we got things set up here. But just finished loading my work computer and everything in the car, and sat on the steps talking to Dad for a little bit, and told him that every time I moved out, I ended up moving out 3 times. Every time I moved out, I felt like I was abandoning him and Mom. And the last time, just him, because Mom had already passed several years earlier. And I was crying. And I told him that I love him. And those are the very last words I said to my father. And 2 weeks later, he was gone. Again, I lucked out. The last words I said to my dad were, "I love you." I performed 2 marriages. I am an ordained minister. I performed 2 marriages, and in both those ceremonies, I made sure to impress. Make sure the last thing you say to the people that you love, whether you're going to bed, going to work, going to the next room, going to grab a carton of milk, is "I love you." Because you never know when it's going to be your last time. And on that modeling note, I love you all. Be safe. I wish you all light, laughter, love, hope, and happiness. Try to bring something to the world. Build each other up. Don't tear each other down. Take a light.